Good afternoon, students. As you know, I'm Professor Escobar, and I'm here to present a short lesson on analysis to you. As I said previously, this lesson is going to be a little different than our previous lessons. Instead of me telling you what analysis is, we had a little lecture on thesis statements and summarizing. In this lesson, we're going to figure out what analysis means together. So even if you don't know what it means, just to keep your cool and we'll figure it out together. All right, to get us started, I'd like us to take a little quiz. And I'll share my screen so that we could go through it together. All right. So we know that analysis is something that we have to learn to do in this class, but what is it? It's related to an essay, but how? All right, so which is an example of analysis? And pick one of the following. A meme, or A, a tweet, B, a meme, C, a DIY YouTube video, and D, a podcast. So which of the following is an example of analysis? And we'll take a moment to think. All right, so you thought of your answer? Want to see which is the right answer? All right, let's check it out. It turns out that all of them are examples of analysis. Tweets can analyze what's going on in the world. A meme can analyze like a problem, a social problem that we're all facing. A DIY YouTube video can analyze how technology and household appliances intersects with our daily needs. And a podcast can analyze, everything from celebrity drama to the latest book from Norton. All right. So analysis is something that we do every day in our lives. It's not just an academic skill. We use it inside and outside the classroom. Although there isn't one definition of analysis, for this course, it has a specific meaning as you read, understand, and explain text. In this lesson, you'll learn more about this kind of analysis by finding an example from your world, brainstorming a working definition and analysis with your peers, and analyzing a TED Talk about racism and social change. And before we get started on all that, I actually just wanted to give you a few personal examples of analysis. And I'll share my screen again. All right. So some examples of analysis that I currently use in my own life is to analyze books. I review books of poetry. Sorry, excuse me. And I occasionally get them published, interesting places. And this one was published a couple months ago. And so I'm analyzing like different verses, different images, the poet's mood, the poet's purpose. But video game reviews could also be examples of analysis. It doesn't have to be something academic. A lot of you enjoy analysis in the form of podcasts, of people talking about what's going on in the world. And one podcast that does that is Soul Rebel Radio, which interviews up-and-coming activists and artists in LA and what young people think about what's going on with the world and how they're changing it. One example from my family comes from my brother, who's an artist, and he creates these really cool stickers that kind of analyze what's going on with immigration and police. And he uses kind of pop imagery to think through what's going on and communicate what's going on and critique what's happening. So he makes these little paleta sculptures. Many of you eat paletas and enjoy paletas, but he actually makes them as little sculptures and then sells them and donates them to different causes. such as Black Lives Matter in the Inland Empire, and GLITS, which supports LGBT youth. So as you can see in protests, people's signs, they're connecting the dots between what's going on with analysis, or what's happening in the world, and how this event is related to that event, is related to like oppression, which is related to discrimination, which is causing them to act and articulate their analysis to affect social change. And of course, we have examples from our day-to-day life. We enjoy analysis on the regular. And one of the Instagram accounts that I follow to get my cup of tea is the Goth Chola, which I just find hilarious. So this meme is a good example of analysis. Why did you choose our company? Because you are recruiting. What can you bring to the company? A new employee. And it's this like Lego talk that's just analyzing the dynamics of the job market and how today employees are undervalued by corporations and no longer really seen as an asset, but just more of intake. Another example of analysis, and this one, some of them are very real, is this tweet. In college, I was asked to be in a sorority date auction, and I told them, I probably shouldn't get on a stage in front of a bunch of white people and be sold for money. And then they canceled the entire event. So this tweet is analyzing, social dynamics at the college, kind of sexy parties that happen. And it's kind of analyzing how we present one another maybe tied up and bound up with racism, which has been going on for centuries in the United States. So these are just examples of analysis that we use in our daily lives, that we use to express ourselves, to communicate with one another, and to think through different sources and different texts. And we'll start practicing analysis in the next activities. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions.